What's up, Guardians? Profane here. Thanks for checking out the video. Kell's Fall has been a really fun exotic mission, sending Guardians back to the Tangled Shore to take on Fickrell and his merry band of scorned commanders. This new mission has a lot of deep tie-ins to the events of the Forsaken expansion, where we saw the demise of Cade 6. This new exotic mission has introduced a lot of cool secrets, including melodies that can be played on an organ, and a secret boss encounter against a mindbender and a medium-sized tormentor. This encounter is pretty cut and dry. It doesn't include any special mechanics, just simply defeat the boss and the tormentor, and your job is done. The addition of secret boss encounters like this adds a great deal of depth into Destiny, and it encourages players to keep an eye out for such things, which brings us to the main point of today's video, which is taking a look at all of the secret boss encounters that are currently available in Destiny, and you'll be surprised to know that there are more than 15 secret boss encounters that are currently accessible, so let's go ahead and check out the rest. First up, we have the Primeval Theresia, the Font of Blight, which is a secret boss encounter within the Warlord's Ruin dungeon. Completing this encounter is the very last thing that you'll need to do to earn the Buried Bloodline exotic catalyst, and this encounter features mechanics that are seen throughout the other encounters within this dungeon. Ghost of the Deep is another dungeon that is host to a secret boss encounter, but this encounter stretches over 3 sections of the dungeon, and it pins Guardians up against Tholar, the Acolyte of Nokris. In order to engage this boss, you'll have to interact with different statues spread out throughout the dungeon, and by defeating this boss, you'll receive the catalyst for the Navigator exotic trace rifle. The Pit of Heresy is one of Destiny's early dungeons, and it too features a secret boss, Volmar the Tempted. This hive wizard is only accessible through the Xenophage exotic quest, and it will be summoned by activating totems within the early stages of the dungeon. This is one of the more interesting boss battles, as it forces players to use a rotation of different light-based energies, which makes weapons like the Hard Light perfect against this boss. The Shattered Throne is another dungeon that comes with a secret boss, but unlike the other dungeons, there are actually 3 secret bosses here. There's Quirum, Aravix, and Zavoth. All 3 bosses are linked to the Wishender exotic quest, but even without the quest, you can activate each of their unique encounters by just depositing charges into corresponding statues. Dungeons and exotics aren't the only places that you'll find secret bosses. Dares of Eternity is a 6% activity that hosts its own secret bosses, and those are going to be found through the lightning rounds, but these are only going to activate at random. Onslaught and Onslaught Salvation have their own secret encounters, which are similar to that of Dares of Eternity, and just like Dares of Eternity, these are going to randomly activate. These are timed encounters that present an especially difficult challenge, forcing you to defeat several tormentors or subjugators within a short amount of time. Through the process of completing the Malfeasance exotic quest, players are going to enter into a unique version of the Corrupted Strike, where you'll face off against a secret boss called Yakar, bound to Sadia. This is a pretty straightforward encounter, but what makes it difficult is that you're engaging a boss and other enemies while standing on a literal island, with very little shelter. We've got more secret bosses to look at, but the rest of the ones on our list will be found in public spaces. Ever since the release of Into the Light, there have been secret bosses inserted into a few public events. Whenever completing taken public events on the EDZ and on the Dreaming City, you'll be able to face off against special oversized tormentors whenever activating the heroic difficulty of these events. The Dreaming City features a few other secret bosses that can be summoned based on the rotation of the Taken Curse. The Devalian Mist and Resilvia feature special boss encounters, but these activate off of a timer, so you'll need to be in the respective areas to be able to participate in these. But you'll need to visit the Dreaming City on the correct week to be able to activate each of these encounters. And the final place to find secret bosses will be Savathun's Throne World, where there are Lucent Inquisitors and Lucent Executioners. The Executioners are only accessible whenever completing the Alembic memory quests, whereas Inquisitors will be found in each of the main public areas of the Throne World. But these Inquisitors do run on a daily rotation and an hourly timer. So just like on the Dreaming City, you're going to need to be in that area to be able to activate the Inquisitors. And to summon the Inquisitors, you're going to need to defeat special groups of hive enemies, but you'll have a limited time to do so.
I want it torched and their commander perforated. Not of my yard, you zombies.
In the past, we've seen several other secret bosses like the Omen from the Season of the Deep activities, but like most things in Destiny, those have become vaulted. But even still, we've been left with a nice collection of hidden encounters and secret bosses. But how many of these secret bosses did you know about, and how many of them have you taken down, and which is your favorite? Let us know down in the comments below. That's going to wrap things up for today's video, but thank you as always for checking it out. If you enjoyed, then be sure to hit that like button below, along with the subscribe button if you're new. Both are greatly appreciated, and both really do help support the channel. And until next time, Guardians, this has been Profane, wishing you all some happy hunting.